Good day to all of you. Let me now talk about, especially for skilled professionals, the option that a very quiet option, but at the same time, in my opinion, my considered opinion, is going to be the option for skilled migrants all across the world. And it's a tough one to qualify for, and I'm talking of Australia's skilled migrant program. Australia's skilled migrant program is going to undergo a very major change in June 2012. And as for the new changes, you may get your skill assessed, get file in a form that's going to be called expression of interest form, and then you will have to wait for an invite from the Australian government before you can make an application. So the way immigration is going to be defined as far as skilled professionals for Australia is concerned, the power to choose who Australia as a country wants will totally shift to Australian government. No, it's not going to be possible for anybody to simply make an application based on qualifying criteria and expect his applications to be accepted for permanent resident visa to Australia just because he meets a point system. So typically how the Australian government is going to move is that once you file in the expression of interest application along with some minimum requirement, which may include your English language test report and your skill assessment report. So once you file your EUI application, expression of interest application, the Australian government will then check your profile with the job opportunities that are available in Australia, check and ensure that there is a possibility that you will be able to get a job after you land in Australia as a permanent resident. In many cases, it directly check with the employers or the employers' databases on the nature of vacancies that they may have. Such a database may be maintained by the Australian government, and checking with those databases and checking in some cases directly with the employer come to a conclusion that whether you and your application for permanent resident visa is likely to be accepted or not. So typically if the response of the employment community, the employer community is positive, the research indicates that yes, you will get jobs in Australia once a visa is issued to you, then the possibility of your application, expression of interest application being accepted is very high, and then you will be invited to make a formal permanent residence application for Australia. So this hugely significant change that's going to happen in June 2012. So you have two steps that you must take right now. If you do not want the uncertainty of being accepted as an Australian skilled migrant, and you want to control the choice of Australian permanent resident with you, then our advice is that you should start your Australian immigration process as a skilled migrant immediately and without any further delays. Because typically it can take 2 to 3 months, just to at times 4 months, just to get your skills assessed, to give the IELTS test, to prepare your application form, to prepare all the documents. So in between giving IELTS, getting your skill assessed and preparing the file, 3 to 4 months will go, and you will not even realize though that time has gone by. So that will enable you to log in your application before May end, and which will mean that your application will be processed under the currently applicable processing time. And keep in mind that Australia, just like all the countries, has a quota, immigration quota, and that too for each occupation that's listed in the various occupation lists. So it can happen, because just like you could be thinking, there will be so many other applicants who will be thinking of filing in the application before May 30th, and then definitely before the new application comes into force from new policy comes into force from June 2011. So everybody will be rushing into file application. So it's not a must that quota will continue to be open for too long, and it can happen because of sheer flood of application. The quota may get over in February or March of 2012. It has happened in the past. Immigration quotas get over. So it's in your interest to start your process for Australia skill migration as soon as possible, and if you want to log in your application at the earliest. But do not also panic just because there's a new policy coming into force from 2012 June. In my considered opinion, I've been running Abhinav since 1994, so I know what I'm talking about. In my considered opinion, this new policy is also a very, very positive step, because after you file your expression of interest application, they are sending you invite after checking up the job market situation in Australia. So if you are selected and you are invited to file in a permanent residence application to Australia after your EOI has been filed, that means that settlement opportunities for you in Australia after the residence visa is granted are very, very bright and very good. So you are landing in Australia with a lot of confidence in your ability to be a successful, especially financially successful immigrant. And that is a lot of confidence, because when one is filing for permanent resident visa application, one is going to countries outside of home to have a better life, not to struggle. So to that extent, the new policy is a very, very positive step, and you should look forward to filing even under the new policy. And we at Abhinav will always stand by you. We've been doing this Australian immigration for over a decade now, and we offer you a choice. You can file using our name, our services. You can file directly, or we even offer you option services of a Mara agent. So, but that's optional for you. So either way, you can choose and select which form of application you want to make through Abhinav, and we'll offer you that choice and that option. Australia is a great destination to make your home. And also, Australia is one of the few countries which offers you a set of options and programs under which you can immigrate as a skilled migrant. You can immigrate under a general skilled migrant program. You can immigrate under regional programs. You can immigrate under state programs. So in between all these programs, for sure, you'll be able to find an occupation in which you can nominate yourself and get your permanent resident visa application. The norms may be different from program to program, but overall your dream of becoming Australian immigrant, very, very good if your English skills are good. I mean, that's something that Australia wants. Australia wants immigrants with excellent, top quality English language skills. So you have good English language skills, you are listed in one of the occupations, irrespective of whether it is before June 2012 policy or it's after June 2011-12 policy. We are with you, and you will become a successful Australian migrant. And rest assured, with Abhinav, your interests will be fully secured. You can always write me an email at my email ID, Ajay, AJAY, @Abhinav, ABHINAV, that's B for Bombay, HINAV.com. And I'll ensure that all your queries are responded as soon as possible, and way shown for you for early filing on an application and becoming a successful immigrant to Australia. Thank you very much, and we look forward to hearing from you.